all those unanswered questions have turned Bo Bergdahl's story into a political football, and my next guests know quite a lot about that. Joining me now is Lanny Davis. He's the author of Crisis Tales, 5 Rules for Coping with Crisis in Business, Politics, and Life. And he's also the former White House special counsel for the Clinton administration. Brad Chase is here with me of Capital Media Partners. He has been helping some soldiers who served with Bergdahl to go public with their criticism. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me. Brad, I'm going to begin with you. Your firm is giving media assistance to, I think it's 7 former members of Bergdahl's platoon who have spoken out. There are some accusations out there that many of these critiques surrounding Bergdahl and his reasons for leaving the base are part of a coordinated Republican effort to attack the White House. Is there any truth to that?
There's absolutely no truth to that claim. It's almost bizarre that I've been branded as a GOP strategist, despite the fact that I have never once been a member of the Republican Party. It's easy to try and go after me, but I'll tell you, I have voted in the presidential tickets over the years for candidates from both sides.
Okay, but here's the question, though, that your partner at your firm, Rick Grinnell, is a Republican strategist, a former aide to Mitt Romney. How is that not a partisan agenda?
He's not running this. These guys were yelling out on Twitter, begging for somebody to listen to their story. For 5 years, they've held this in. It's been haunting them. That man walked out on them 5 years ago, but he's been in their lives every day. So they reached out. Rick was the first one to find it. He did help a little bit facilitating the first couple things to get this thing started, but you can ask hundreds, thousands hundreds of reporters. I've been their primary contact. I'm the one that's helping these soldiers.
This story has been reported, especially about him being a potential deserter, for years now by a number of different organizations. It's nothing new, but since he has been released, it has become an issue. Are you saying that they reached specifically out to Rick Grinnell?
Well, they were reaching out to a number of people. Cody Full, one of the soldiers who was brave enough to speak out after holding this in for so long, was putting things all over Twitter and was reaching out to notable names. Rick is a notable name, and yes, he is a Republican, but he was just the first one to recognize that this is a story that needs to be told. He passed it over to me. He said, Brad, everyone else at Capital Media Partners, this looks like an interesting story. Would you be interested in working with these guys?
Yeah, it does seem.
I did.
You have to. It is suspect, though. You have to admit that they would reach out to a Republican strategist, and then your reply is that it's not part of a Republican effort. Lanny Davis,
so are you implying that I am a closet Republican?
No, I'm not.
I'm not talking about you.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about your firm, and I'm talking about Rick Grinnell.
I'm running this, so can you explain to me how?
You said they reached out to Mr. Grinnell. That's why.
They reached out to him.
Right.
They reached out to a number of people.
Who is a Republican strategist. He
was recently named by Time as one of the 140 most best Twitter feeds of the year, along with people like Bill Clinton. He's a notable name.
Okay.
He's very public.
Lanny, what do you make of this?
Well, first of all, I don't quite care about the political motives or political affiliations. I care about the president who I support not fully explaining this decision. So as a crisis manager, there are 3 things that bother me with the handling of the decision, and I disclose fully I'm a Democrat who supports Barack Obama. First, I don't think the president addressed the major elephant in the room about the issue of desertion and whether he's going to face military justice and evaluating whether it's true or not. I haven't passed judgment. The president should have addressed that up front. Secondly, the president should have told us more about the conditions to restrain and keep away from civilized people these murderers that have been released and are now in Qatar. What are the conditions of their detention? Are they allowed to go back to Afghan and kill more people? They're terrorists and they're murderers. The president hasn't told us that. And thirdly, he hasn't explained why he did not consult with Dianne Feinstein and the Republican senior members of both intelligence committees. If he's afraid of a leak, is he going to tell Senator Feinstein that? Is he going to tell the American people that he couldn't consult with Congress because he was worried about a leak? If that's the case, tell us. So on those 3 issues, he hasn't explained himself very well. As a matter of crisis management, that's just not good.
And even you didn't mention the ceremony in the Rose Garden that many people are taking offense to. They think it made Bo Bergdahl out to be a hero when he possibly may not be one? Lanny.
I don't mind the selection of the Rose Garden to celebrate the return of an American in battle and our tradition of not leaving Americans behind if we can retrieve them, even if we have to trade for them. The Israelis have traded for
I understand where you're going, but part
ratio.
of it, Lanny, though, is the optics behind this. If the president had
The
come out
optics are
and
not good.
Right. If the president had come out and said, "Listen, there's some question about this guy, but we don't leave a man behind." So
exactly.
Okay.
That's my point, and you're exactly right.
All right.
I don't mind if he says that in the Rose Garden or anywhere else, but he's got to right up front to get in front of the things that are bothering people, and the three things I just mentioned,
Lanny,
and I'm a supporter, are bothering me.
I got to take a break. Please stay with me, because coming up here on CNN, the White House clearly on the defensive tonight over Bergdahl as a political firestorm heats up. And later, something else the president might be sweating over. I want you to take a look at the Commander-in-Chief's workout video. On the surface, it seems simple. A U.S. soldier held captive is brought home. But this hasn't exactly been a celebration, more like a political firestorm. I'm back now with Lanny Davis and also Brad Chase. I want you guys to listen to this, because earlier this evening, I spoke to Pam Morris, a publisher of Bo Bergdahl's hometown paper, the Idaho Mountain Express, and I asked her about the local reaction to the controversy swirling about the circumstances of his release. Here's what she told me.
We've been aware at the newspaper for a long, long time that there was a subterranean drumbeat about the circumstances of Bo Bergdahl's captivity, how he was captured, the manner in which he left his base. We have no evidence. We are reporters. We are reporters like every other good journalist in this country, and we wait until the facts are in. We do not believe that people should be tried by soundbite, nor in the social media, in which there is no accountability. This is a military matter. This is a matter for serious consideration, and we believe all the facts should be gathered before we indulge in character assassination, very frankly.
Brad Chase, you care to respond to that?
And what do you propose as an alternative? These soldiers remain silent?
You'd have to ask her that question.
Well, I'm asking you. You've already insinuated that there's some sort of manipulation going on
She's
here
saying
and
people
question
should
my
wait.
credibility.
No, I didn't question your credibility. I just asked you, I was questioning your motivation and the motivation of someone you work with. Listen, I think that these soldiers have every right to speak out. But what I've been saying is that everyone involved here, including the White House, should not rush to judgment and should not politicize it. When I spoke to Lanny, hang on, if you're going to question me. And when I spoke to Lanny about the presentation in the Rose Garden, to me, that was politicizing the situation by the White House. And when I hear other people like Rick Grinnell and you guys who may be coordinating some sort of effort, to me, that seems like politicizing it. I'm not questioning the guys, I'm questioning your motivation.
Well, what I'll tell you is my personal belief is that it's being politicized equally on both sides. I think both sides are equally guilty. I think there are the extremists on the left and the right wing that are using specific facts and sound bites to justify their own agendas.
And on the right?
I just said both.
But you gave an example of the left. What's the example of the right?
Well, on the right, they are going after Obama without having gotten a full explanation.
Okay. So, Lanny, here's what Senator Kelly Ayotte wrote in a May 22nd press release that the Defense Department should do. It said, all it can do is find Bo Bergdahl and bring him home safely. Then on June 22nd, she reportedly said that the trade sets a precedent that could encourage our enemies to capture more Americans in order to gain concessions from our government. She isn't the only Republican to shift views. So why all this criticism now, you think?
Well, again, I hate to question motives. I can only tell you that Senator Ayotte's been consistently wrong on the facts regarding Benghazi, and she's rushing to judgment here. And this reporter said it exactly right. I don't understand why my colleague didn't just immediately say, that reporter has it right. We all have to wait for the facts to come in. My suggestion to the president is he could have done a better job of saying these issues must be addressed by our military. This was not an easy decision because there are questions that need to be answered, and then let the facts come home and speak for themselves, not only about the circumstances of his departure, but the conditions about the people going to Qatar. Nothing has been told to me by the president that I support that I should be safe knowing that the Qataris will keep these people away from American soldiers. These are terrorists, these are murderers, these are thugs, yet the president hasn't reassured me that the conditions in Qatar are going to be to keep them constrained, if not away from the battlefield. So I think she's got it right. We can't rush to
I've got to go. Thank you very much, Lanny Davis. Thank you, Brad Chase. I appreciate that. And we come right back, the executive producer of Homeland, what he thinks of the stranger-than-fiction story of Bo Bergdahl's release.